Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. And I offer this devotion as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, and for the soul. And it's titled Celebrating Those who have Inspired Us, who lit the flame within, a reflection for Father's Day. I walked back to the chapel the other day. Molly had just had a really wonderful hour running and playing with her best friend, Ronnie, in the park. Ronnie is a cross between a Jack Russell and a Border Collie, and a really interesting mix. Lovely puppy, and she loves puppies, and she really loves Ronnie. As I was walking back, I passed this area that's kind of known as the Wild Garden, and I noticed there, all alone, was one single flower. I'd seen this flower once before, perhaps a couple of years ago, but it really stood out particularly that day. And it's a single red poppy standing there all alone, right there, proudly displaying its beauty there in the wild garden. I had noticed it a couple of years ago, but it's always just one red poppy. Amazing what stands out, isn't it? This time I passed and paused, and just for a few moments I took a picture and I shared the picture with friends. And the picture and the poppy, brought me back to pictures and poems and stories I'd seen just a few days previously as they were marking the 80th anniversary of D-Day, lest we forget. I thought of all those young men lost on that day and all those men and women that have been lost in conflict, not just that day, but in all days, including these days. It still goes on. When will it ever end? Who knows? I thought of my maternal granddad actually, who was one of those who returned from the Second World War, and one of those who was able to become a father and a grandfather and a great grandfather and beyond, much more and much, much more. And I remembered how grateful he was for his life, for the privilege that he saw that his life was, and how so many young men did not have that privilege. They died in conflict, including his best friend, Percy Epworth, who he vowed every night as he took his prayers, my granddad, that he would live not only his life, but Percy's life too. He never forgot. My maternal granddad was probably the one true paternal inspiration consistently throughout my childhood. I knew I could always depend on him. I always felt safe and secure in his presence. I always felt I could be myself fully around him. And he always had this amazing ability to cheer me up when things seemed really difficult, and they often were. I can hear him now. Now then, old lad. And then he would say something else. Makes me smile now. He's one of the few people when I think of, if I talk about, in fact, the other day I was sharing something with a friend and brought tears to my eyes. And I'm not one for crying, but the old lad could do that. Father's Day can be difficult for so many of us for a variety of reasons. Some of us may have had difficult relationships with our fathers for many reasons. Some may have difficult relationships now. Some may have painful memories of lost fathers, whether through death or other reasons. For some of us, our fathers may not have been as supportive and as encouraging as we would have liked them to be. Some of us may never have had any kind of a relationship with their biological fathers or any fathers at all. We really have friends who never knew their fathers. Other fathers may have troubles with their children. So for many of us, today can be very, very difficult and painful. It may bring anger or all kinds of emotions for all kinds of reasons. And I like to think of such people and hold them in my heart on this day where we celebrate fatherhood. Despite all that, though, there is one thing I'm sure we have all known in our time. I'm sure we have all known all kinds of people who have inspired us in some ways. Those people who have lit the flame when life seemed difficult, when we have struggled. Those that cheered us up when we fell so many times, as my granddad did, and so many other people have actually in my life. So many other people I'm not connected to biologically or at all, but they've lit the flame in me and they've lifted me up when I have fallen. I've been thinking a lot of the significant and inspirational people that I've met in my life, men and women. I wonder who and what has been significant in your life. Who and what has touched and shaped your life? Who are the significant people? What are the significant moments, the significant events? We remember those moments, the moments that shape our lives. Having said that, though, there are many other moments that we don't remember that have shaped us too, that has affected us too in so many ways, even if we weren't aware of it at the time. I can think of things come back to me 20, 30, 40 years later that touched and shaped me, and sometimes they only make sense decades later. So many moments and so many people have inspired us, have shaped our lives, have made us the people that we are today. We should always honour that, as we honour our lives and their lives. But the last few days I've been particularly thinking of different people who have inspired me at different times. Those people that gave to me freely, those people that kept me going in my darkest hours. Brings to mind a favourite quotation from one of the great figures of the 20th century, and a real inspiration to so many, a man who lived an incredible life, Albert Schweitzer, who wrote, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us." There are many people who have inspired me who lit the flame within when everything seemed so dark. There are many who have taught me life-enhancing, life-changing things. I've been thinking about several of these people these last few days. I talked with a man who, over 20 years ago, helped bring me back to life, saved my life, you could say, actually, without wanting to sound too dramatic. He showed me patience and kindness that was so inspirational back then. And he reminded me the other day of how dark those days were, how lost I was actually, how hopeless I felt. Sometimes it can be hard to reconnect with those emotions when they're so long ago. Last weekend I spent time remembering several people who touched my heart, especially in those darker days, and especially those people that are no longer here actually, who somehow live on within me though. There are so many souls who have inspired me and who continue to inspire me today, even though they're physically long gone. They're in my heart and my soul and my spirit, and they inspire me. They fill me with spirit within. Some were paternal figures, many were not, but they were all inspirations. They certainly inspired me. Now, the word inspire is one of those words, like so many words in common usage, that has been reduced in meaning really as time has gone by, as we have secularized our lives, I guess. We have reduced the meaning of inspire. Inspire originally meant immediate influence of God, especially with reference to the writing of a holy book, coming from the French word inspiration, meaning inhaling, breathing in inspiration, from the Latin inspirare, meaning to breathe in, to inflame. So to inspire means to breathe upon, to blow into, to excite, to inflame, to affect, to arouse, but to do so through spirit or soul. So to inspire is to be involved in divine activity, actually. Therefore, it seems reasonable to conclude that when we inspire others, or they inspire us, we or they are engaging in divine activity, sacred activity. To inspire others is to engage in maybe the highest form of love. It is divine love in human action. That's what it means to inspire. But we don't think of that when we say the word. Oh, he was such an inspiration. They're engaged in divine love. Yeah, we've secularized. We've reduced the meaning of the word. Human beings do it all the time. Everyone that we meet and everything that we absorb through our senses can be an inspiration. There are inspirations all around us, as there always has been. Throughout our history, there have been inspirations. Some have been great figures who have shaped history, the ones they build statues to. But most will probably never recognise. No ones that inspire us personally, I guess. But they live on in our hearts and our memories, and we need to remember them. For they inspired us, they awakened something within us, and they helped us become the people that we are today. And they live on through us as they continue to inspire us and as we do the same to others. So on this Father's Day, I am remembering those that have inspired me, that filled my heart and my soul. Yes, some were paternal figures, but others were not. On this day that celebrates fathers and fatherhood, let us remember all of them. Let us also dedicate ourselves to create acts of remembrance from the love that they inspired in us. For in so doing, we will inspire future generations, and we will inspire those all around us, those struggling around us that need a bit of light. Inspire them to become all that they can be. And in doing so, our lives will become worth dying for by the legacies of love that we leave behind. Amen. So I'm going to end with some final words of blessing. You know, we need to bless more, and we can all bless. We bless when we give ourselves wholeheartedly to life. So may love permeate your every heartbeat. May faith guide your every step. May truth and compassion be your eternal travelling companion. And may a deep, abiding spirit rest joyously in your every waking wish and your every resting dream. And may the love of God go with you in all that you feel, in all that you think, in all that you say, in all that you do. Go in love.